Dr. Lee, can you explain to me how organ donations are done at Georgetown Medical? What kind of codes of conduct must be followed in order to get consent for organ donation?
I'm not at Georgetown, but at Mercy Hospital in Pittsburgh, there's a consent form that's very detailed, and the donation team is separate from any of the doctors who treat the patient, and there has to be a fully informed consent there, and that complete separation. The doctors say, well, the team will come in and they want to talk to you, but they won't. The doctors who are treating the patient or will not bring up with the family the same.
So is there any contact between the person giving consent, the recipient of the organ, the technician that is transferring the organ, or the physician that's procuring the organ during or before the forms are signed or consent is given?
There's not direct. There's contact between a team that mediates between the procurement.
So there's a mediator.
And that team is the one that speaks to the family members and patients. There's always that go between, that mediation.
Great. I want to focus again on trying to protect the minor. Is it possible, Dr. Shamanda, did I get Shamanda? Thank you. Is it possible for a minor to undergoing an abortion procedure to be faced with the decision to donate tissue on the same day that she's receiving that procedure?
That's unconscionable. No. At that age, no. That should never happen.
Does that happen?
I am not aware. I mean, I'm not in that industry. So no, I'm not aware of exactly the procedures followed.
Does anyone know if that actually on this panel, if that actually happens, the day that the minor is receiving, or the day that anybody is receiving the procedure, that they are faced with donating the tissue on that very day?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Except for abortion, I think it is.
Okay. So from what I understand, there are strict codes of conduct and guidelines for adult organ donations, but there are little to no laws or guidelines protecting minors when giving consent to perform an abortion or giving consent to have a child's tissue donated. Again, I'm coming at this looking at my 14-year-old and seeing what it was like for her to have an ACL surgery and how frightened she was. I couldn't imagine a 14-year-old going into a clinic without someone there that she trusts, that's an advocate for her, when she is faced with an organ, with donating tissue of an organ when she is going to be receiving these procedures herself. I couldn't imagine doing that myself, let alone a minor. I'm trying to ask, who is there to actually protect that minor when they're going in to have these procedures? Her side. The last thing I want to say is that there are times in our history in this country that we thought the behavior and the terrible treatment of some human beings were okay. Throughout our history, we had the opportunity to look back and say we were wrong. I am here because we've looked back at behavior that we thought was unethical and we changed it. Boy, I hope that we live in a country where we can look at the history and say the treatment of an unborn child is unethical. The treatment of a minor that is going in to receive some of these procedures should have someone on their side. And I hope that we live in a country where we can look back and we can change some of those things. I would not be here if we didn't have people making that courageous decision. I hope that we in this country are able to stand up and say the treatment is unethical. We're going to change it.